So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So anyway, grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share with me, we'll add it. Links for that down below. And yes, today we're peeling moringa and we're also peeling coffees because it's a job, sort of speak, especially when I'm behind in so many things because I have been sick. And even right now I'm still coughing a little bit, and it has been insane. And anyway, so having said that, then if you wanted to take a look at any of the books that I have written, they are also links for that down below. And we are going to be talking about concepts, as in words that are important for you to figure things out and not mess up, especially when it comes to medicine. And so it's important. Now, basics. This is something that our grandmothers used to know, but now we just don't. And so, when you go to the store, and OTC, as in over the counter, meaning you don't need a recipe, you don't need special instructions, you don't need a doctor's signature, you don't need permission and blah blah blah. So basically, you just go get it. That's it. When you go and get it, and that's it, it's understood by whoever is manufacturing whatever it is that you are buying that you know how to read labels. So I'm going to say this again. You are supposed to know how to read labels. If you do not know how to read food labels, then may I suggest that you stop this video and go and check another YouTube video of, I don't know, somebody that can tell you exactly how to read those labels, because that will be your main thing. Then there is the medicines, and the most common medicines are the ones that you're supposed to apply to your skin because it is normal. So this kind of medicine, it should be working for when you have dry skin, when you have cuts, when you have a lot of things. And so you are supposed to know what are you buying. And so at this point, you want to know the difference between four words. Now, there is one of these four words that it's not translated into English. In Spanish there are four, but in English there are three. So you, for one word in particular, you need to read the label and see the ingredients. And these are creams, gels, and ointments. They are not the same. If you're thinking, I'm going to buy a triple antibiotic thing, it can be cream, it could be gel, or it could be ointment, as in the presentation. And so you understand what a triple antibiotic thing is. However, you might not know what the difference is. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. So you may not know what is a concept or the difference between these three. You may think they are the same, but they're not. The presentation of creams have more moisture, and therefore they are important for when you have dry skin. However, if it comes to a wound, then you might need to rethink this one, because if the wound is kind of like a cut, then if you have something that you will make the cut moist, then you might have issues later. Why? Because you are supposed to keep the wounds dry, not wet. And when you are adding moist, then this means that you are basically making it wet. So when you have wounds and others, you might want to avoid creams. Uh, However, you need to talk to your doctor again, because this is just general knowledge from your grandmothers and things like this. So it's not necessarily what a doctor might prescribe you or a doctor might tell you, because sometimes you have conditions in which you need to moisture things, and when you need to moisture things is different from when you need to make it faster. If you need pain reliefs that work faster, and they are basically more watery, and they act faster because they can be diluted or they can be processed through your skin way faster because they are more liquid, and their effect goes not to the first layer of the skin but to the second one, then you need gels. The difference between gels and moisture is that the cream will very likely stick to the first layers of your skin because they are thicker. And because they are thicker, it takes longer to go to the second layer. Remember, your skin has layers, and therefore it's important that you understand this one, because the layers determine how fast things are going to act. If it is a cream and it is sticky, the process of you getting it through your skin, as in you going down, is like a filter, so it will take longer. However, gels don't have that problem. It's like watery thing, and then they have the option of going faster. The problem with this one is that if you need the skin to be moisture, or you need to protect the skin, yeah, you just went from level, your skin level, the surface, to the deepest level. So you're not protecting and you're not moisturizing. You're just going faster. And therefore, they are different. Depending upon what you want, the effect needs to go according to the ingredients and the main things. So it's either moisture, because you are going to be creamy, as in saturated fats, not necessarily oils, but fats and things like this mixed with the emulsients. I don't know if that is the correct word in English, but emulsification process, and that's why it's creamy, and therefore it's different. Now, what you have when you have ointments, you have two types of ointments. Ointments means oily. Now, if you have oily, that means that it's going to make a protection against everything else, because oil will repel water. Therefore, if you have a cut and you need to cover it with something that is protecting it, so that if it gets wet, the wetness from the environment or whatever it is doesn't go through, you need some sort of lubricant. That way it will not get wet. Therefore, when you have something like this that requires protection, then you want ointments. And there are two types. And that's why in Spanish we have two words for this. We have the word pomada, and then we have ungüento. So these are different. However, in English, I only know ointment, so I do not know if there is a special word for this thing. And the difference is that one of them will be made with Vaseline, as in is a pharmaceutical way to do it. And then there is oily, as in it is made with oils. And so one is natural, and the other one is more chemical, more pharmaceutical. And so the difference is the ingredient, the main base. Both of them are lubricants. Vaselines are lubricants, but they will expire different, and depending upon the main ingredient of the oil, they will also have different effects. So for example, if you use olive oil as a base, it will have one effect. If you use regular oil, as in cooking oil, it will have another effect. If you have rose oil or oregano oil or any kind of herb oil added to this thing, it will have a different effect. And therefore, when you have natural things, the difference will be the main base, which is the type of the oil. And depending upon the type of the oil, you can enhance or you can diminish the effect of the ointment. So for example, if you want to add antibacterial properties to this ointment, you can have oregano type of oil as a base, and so now you have a difference. However, if it is Vaseline, then it might be more difficult unless you add something special to the Vaseline. Like there are ointments that will have Vaseline with chamomile, and when you get the Vaseline with the chamomile, you have a different type of mixture that will add an effect of cooling to this ointment. However, the ones that you get commercially will be usually made with just cooking oil or vegetable oil and the Vaseline. So, having said that, then the next thing that you want to understand is the type of soaps that you might be getting, especially if you have special conditions in your skin, or if you are allergic, or if there is a seasonal issue. So for example, for winter or for summer, the soaps that you want to have are different or should be different. Reason being is that soaps have a base that sometimes is made out of oil or some type of lubricant, and this means that sometimes they will be made with natural ingredients, and sometimes the mixture or the ratio can be different, and they can also add emulsions, as in more cream to the soap. Now, if you have a creamy soap, it's called saturated fat or extra fatty type of soap, and when you have that one, the cleanliness effect is going to diminish. However, when you use this type of soap, you will have creamy effect on your skin. And I just told you that when you have creamy effect in your skin, then the moisture that you have will be able to retain longer. And so if the moisture is retained longer, if you have dry skin or there is a special condition like winter, then this one is going to help you out a lot. However, if it is summer and you're already sweating a lot and you're already very, very moist, then if you're going to use a very an oversaturated soap, fatty soap, is called fatty soap, then yeah, that is a that is not a very good idea, because you actually want to clean the moisture and you want to do all the other things. So you want to get the other type of soap, which is the alkaline or the regular soap, not the moisturizing one. And so for this, you want to read the ingredients in the label. So if it says extra moisturizing and things like this is better for winter or certain environments. So for example, if you live in the middle of a place that is always wet, then this type of soap just doesn't make sense for you, unless you have a special type of skin like allergies, or you are a baby, or maybe you have acne or other stuff, and then you need other type of soaps. So the soaps have an alkaline level, and they also have a moisturizing level, and they have oil content level. Remember, creams are not the same as oil. And so because creams are more like emulsification things, they have more of those things rather than oils. And so at this point, when you buy soaps, you want to understand this one, because otherwise you might feel extremely uncomfortable in summer, because you are cleaning yourself, you're washing yourself, you're doing everything, and yet somehow everything gets hotter and things like that. Yeah, that's because you're probably using the wrong type of soap when you are showering. Also, you're not supposed to be showering all the time in summer, because you want to get wet, as in you want to have the level of moisture stable in your skin. But that cannot be done with you drinking a lot of water, because the water is going to be on the inside and then it will reflect to the outside, but the oversaturation will not work for you. Meaning, okay, so it's winter and your skin is dry, and now you're drinking more water to keep your skin wet. Yeah, that doesn't work. Or not. Your skin is in the outside, and the water that you're drinking is on the outside, and when you are showering, the water is just running through, and it is actually removing things depending upon the soap that you're using. And so if you're removing things, the moisture will not keep in, because you're removing the moisture. So congratulations, now you need to understand soaps, because with this topic now you can understand what are you supposed to be doing to keep the moisture when you have dry skin. And for this, when you shower, you don't want to use a towel very hard or whatever. You just keep you touch it, drop it, and then when you are kind of wet, you add the protective thing, which either can be creamy, or when you shower, use a very saturated fatty type of soap, and then you use a towel a little bit and then stop, because the soap that you use has a lot of moisture in it. But if the soap that you are using doesn't have moisture, but rather it is alkaline or it's antibacterial and anti-oil kind of things, then you remove everything for your skin. Now it's going to get drier, because as soon as you touch it with the towel, even if you just go like this very gentle, it will go away. And therefore, it's important that you understand the seasonal process of soaping and the seasonal process of almost everything when it comes to handling the differences. And the difference goes because of pH and because of the need of whatever it is that you have. If you need to protect the wound, then you need ointments. If you need to moisture the wound, you need creams. If you need to go fast and really, as soon as possible, get to the second layer, last layer of the thing, pain reliever, things like this, gels are your answer. However, gels are not going to protect your skin, and gels are not going to moisture the whole thing, even though that they are made out of water. Reason being, well, it's like you getting a shot through your veins rather than taking the pill, or rather than have it through your tongue when you have a sublingual type of thing. So when you have these three types of medications, you also need to understand the difference. If it is injected through your vein, it will go through your bloodstream, and therefore the reaction might be faster. However, that one requires a doctor talking to you, because there are different types of injections. There is one that goes through your veins, and there is another one that goes through your muscles. If you screw this one up, as in you put it in the wrong place, congratulations, now you may need surgery to remove that thing from your body because you put it in the wrong place. So no, those you need a doctor. And there is a lot of medicines that you can just get it through your shots. However, go to the doctor. No, serious to God. I have seen people that get injected the wrong medication at the wrong place, and then they develop septicemia, meaning they die. Or now they are in pain and they require a lot of surgeries and a lot of infiltrations and a lot of process, because now you need to remove the liquid that you just put inside your body because the blood is not taking it. Therefore, when you're talking about this, seriously, prescription, doctor, nurses. And at this point, honest to God, if you know somebody that can inject you or whatever, that's fine. However, make sure that you understand the risks involved every single time that somebody injects something into your body. Now, the second process is you taking something. At this point, you have different kinds of presentations, as in you have pills, you have capsules, you have the other words. I forgot the names in Spanish and English, by the way, but they are different. The difference is that if you have a pill, you very likely have something, is a powder that has been pressed together. And when it's pressed, it kind of forms like a jelly, and then that way you can just take it. However, at that point, you can have it coated or not coated. When it is coated, it's going to take a little bit longer to digest if you take it pure. But the pure thing, it might feel weird when you go through your throat. And if it feels weird, you might choke on it. So if you have issues with your throat, or you are dealing with kids or stuff like this, when you're dealing with those type of issues, you need medicine that is liquid. You want to try to get liquid. And the problem is that when you're dealing with liquid, you gotta know measurement of the whole thing. And if you're dealing with over-the-counter medicine, understand the following. If your kid likes the flavor of that medicine and they drink it like crazy, or they overdose with that, you may actually now be in the need for a ER now, like yesterday's time, because liquids don't go through the process of being diluted. And if they don't go to the process of being diluted, this means that they go directly to the organs that they are supposed to be attacking, or where they are supposed to be doing, which is usually the liver. So what happens when you have a liver that now is going insane because the amount that you just put of something is going too fast? It's not that you cannot take it, it's just that it is overflowing. It's like you having water that it is raining, and it rains a little bit and then stops, and then the floor, the soil gets evaporated, and now if it's rain, the floor is okay because it got enough time to evaporate the water. However, what happens when you pour water, and water, despite the fact that the soil can absorb it? The soil, there is a point in which it will be saturated. And when it goes saturated, now you have a flood. And now you have an issue, because this water will not go anywhere. And now it is not just sinking, but it is destroying everything. So the same thing happens when you are taking liquid medicine. If you overdo it, then it's going to become poisonous faster than anything else. And therefore, when you're dealing with liquid medicine, you want to be very careful. When you're dealing with pills or capsules or the other one, it's not a problem because you already have the measurement. And at this point, if you have certain type of blood type, you want to tell your doctor, because certain blood types will require less medicine than the other types, depending upon the medicine that you are dealing with. Mostly, if you are I think it's the group B. The group B, I don't remember if it is AB or B. So you want to talk to your doctor. But the point is that if somebody requires, 200 grams, you might require 100. Because this is especially true when you have this type of blood type and you have red hair. If your natural hair is red, your resistance to medicine will be way higher. The tolerance will be way higher, which means that you don't need that much. If the rest of the planet needs 2, you might need 1. So, depending upon your hair color and depending upon your blood, you might need to recheck your medicine intake. And so, but you gotta talk to your doctor about it. Because if your doctor says take 2, then take 2, you know. But it's important that you understand that even your doctor might not know whether this medicine, the need for that medicine is higher or lower. Because it is a standard. The standard procedure for this medicine will be according to your weight. So, for some people, if they are telling you to take general, like I said, over the counter, they're taking you 2, that's based upon your weight, which is average. However, if the average weight in your place or your community or country gets higher, then the medicine needs to go higher because now you have more weight into your body. Having more weight means more blood, more time, more breathing, more process, and it gets lower, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to take the same effect, you need more. Therefore, heavier people might require more medication, and at this point, you want to take to your doctor. That's why when you go to the doctor, they're supposed to take your blood type, they are supposed to know your hair color, they are supposed to know your nail things, because when you have your nail, they can tell a lot of things through your nail. And through all of these things, they will determine whether you need medicine or not, and how much and how frequent you're supposed to take it. And so it is important that you understand that the liquid one, be very specific and keep the children really, really, really away from those things. Really. Because it is important. And for pets, it's the same thing. Pets might be a pill, which is also by weight. But the problem is that when you're dealing with medicine with pets, they have an issue because they go standards. As in, this is for the dog. Yeah, but there are big dogs and there is small dogs and there are medium dogs, and the pet owners are always complaining with the veterinarians, and the veterinarians are always complaining with the pharmaceutical companies that make these medicines and things like this, because they want to make a standard, but you cannot make a standard because there is no such a thing as a standard dog. And so we don't have a standard human and we don't have a standard dog. Okay? So your weight is very, very, very important. Not your age, but you also, as in your age is extremely important, but your weight. And at the same time, your gender. Because if you have something that will affect your mood, especially if you're a woman, because it is messing up with your hormones or whatever, then this one is going to be insane. Because you cannot ask a woman to have the same medicines as men. Because sometimes we require more, quite frankly. Because we have more fibromyalgia, we have a lot of other things that we just don't know, we don't even, there is no even an explanation for doctors as in what the hell happens to a woman's body in a lot of things. It's like there is no medical explanation. It's just, so for women, medicines are going to be different. And when you have a capsule, again, going back to the concepts, the pill, the capsules, the coated, not coated, and then whether it is a capsule. A capsule is basically made out of, is something that you can even make yourself at home. So basically, you take a bunch of herbs. Of course, I'm assuming that you know what the hell you're doing. And then you place it into a little container that is edible. And this container has a standard measurement. As in, if you fill it up to this point, you need to have the proper tools for doing this one, by the way. And then you fill it up, and that is 1 milligram. And there is another one that says half, because it is 0.5, so half. half a milligram or a milligram. That's it. And there is a standard. And then you fill it up, and now you can take it. So basically, capsules you can make yourself. There are ways to make your pill at home through a machinery, but that one is a process, and you gotta know what the hell you're doing, and you have to have the right combination of materials and all kinds of things. You might need to have a specialization course to do this one, because technically speaking, you could be doing these things out of powders that you can find in your backyard and so on. But like I said, you need proper training, and you need to understand the overdose, and you need to understand the management of these materials. Because if you're going to put powders into the capsules, but these powders are not dry completely, and they are not dry properly, now you are adding fungi into your body without knowing. And fungi can give you diarrhea, it can give you a lot of things, it can even kill you. So, oh, by the way, and if fungi is going to kill you, it's going to probably be a very painful and slow process most of the time, because that is kind of like this thing. So at this point, if you have capsules, they will work faster. And the reason is that as soon as this plastic, this container, gets melted into your body, then it's going to be digested faster than the pills. Reason being, when you have a pill, it's all solid, and so when it goes into your stomach, it's kind of like a digestive process. Is it going to be the same as liquid? No, liquid goes, that's it. It goes wherever it needs to go, because it's liquid. If it is solid, it takes a little bit of a while. And if it is a capsule, once the container is destroyed, then it becomes powder. If it becomes powder, it can do two things. It can either go and turn itself into solid, depending upon the contact with the acid, or it can go directly into just powder, kind of liquid, because it is too thin, and then it will go. And there are instances in which this thing is not even going to be digested. So for example, there are people that will take very, very, very tiny chili type of pepper that is the size of your fingernail. They will put it into the capsule and take it like that, so that it won't hurt your throat. And then as soon as this thing is destroyed, the capsule, then the chili powder doesn't get digested entirely, but rather it goes like it will act kind of like if it is a creamy thing, and it will go directly towards your intestines. And when that happens, this thing is going to be kind of like something that goes inside, and it will break, and then when it breaks, it's going to be releasing capsaicin, and when that happens, it will have an effect in your intestines. So that is something that you cannot do if it is going to be in pill form, or if it is going to be in liquid form, because if your stomach is processing something, depending upon what it is, it's kind of like a big factory. It says distribution center. They says this one goes to that place, this one goes to this factory, this one goes there. And so when it's liquid, usually directly towards the liver or kidneys. If it is mixture, then it's either going to go through your intestines, or is either going to go to other organs, like the spleen or others. And then, depending upon whether it is creamy or something like this, then this thing says, what is this? What? And then it just goes directly towards your intestines and says, leave it, drop it, get it out. And then so you won't digest it. When you have big chunks of food, it's too big, you are eating, and things are just too big, then your stomach goes, get it out, get it out. It's too much. I don't know what the hell this is. This is taking too long. Blah blah blah. So just drop it, leave it. And when you say drop it, leave it, blah blah blah, then your intestines are going to try to get it out. However, in the process of getting it out, yeah, it can get stuck, and therefore you might develop a lot of issues, like diverticulitis and others, when you are eating too big or eating too many things that your stomach goes, I don't know what the hell this is. So when you're eating a lot of things with plastics or toxins or whatever it is, your stomach goes, I don't know what the hell this is, so throw it away. And the garbage process needs to be clean, as in you need to do a deep deparasitation process, and you also need to do other stuff like detoxing your intestines and other organs, because each organ has to be cleansed by different ways. And for doing that, you need to talk to your doctor, or you need to take the things that our grandmothers used to have, which is natural ways for deparasitation and things like this. But again, talk to your doctor about those things, because if you do it wrong or you don't need it, then remember what I just told you about the process of you using a soap that doesn't have a lot of fat, like the extra fatty soap, but then you have the alkaline one, the one that it is more acid, sort of speak, or too much pH, and then it will destroy your skin. Well, the same thing happens when you are doing something that you were not meant to be doing, because it was clean and now you're cleaning it again. So you're removing all the oil. If you remove all the oils within your intestine, what do you think is going to happen? The lubricants that are within your intestine. If you remove the lubricants, then whatever you're going to throw out is just not going to be there, and it is actually going to be breaking it. And now you are becoming a bigger problem because you didn't need it. So a lot of the times, this is why doctors will be hesitant to do whatever it is for your body, because you needing it is a very, very, very difficult thing to determine. It's a very difficult process to determine. And if you're going to take something and you don't need it, and now you're actually going to destroy your trash system, then versus you, maybe I need it, maybe I don't need it, but if I need it, then I'm taking this and I'm cleaning it, blah, blah. The risk is not worth it, and therefore you will now have issues with your doctor, because the doctor is going to tell you, don't do it. And then you're like, but I need it. Now you will be fine, because the doctor will tell you that the risk is just, the benefits are there, but they are not worth it. And that is why they will tell you to not overdo it, and they will tell you that you need more testing, and then they will tell you that you need a lot of things. And that is why you need to understand the processes of things, so that you can see whether one type of medicine will be better and why, or what type of thing is the one that you want to achieve. You want protection? Do you want moisture? Do you want to clean it? Do you want to reset it? Do you have conditions? Like I said, you can't, because you have issues with your throat, you're allergic, whatever it is. Do you have a need for that thing to go into your vein right now? And other stuff like this. See? Because there is a lot of times in which you can't use your throat. And you can't because either is broken or stuff like this. Oh, and by the way, if you break something in here, no repairment. I'm sorry, but no repairs. No, the probability of you repairing something in your throat is just, I'm not going to say impossible, but it is extremely difficult. Why? because we have a special nerves. That's why we have a special surgeons for your hand, because in here you have God knows how many nerves that are interconnecting with one another. And so if you screw up one, you might not be able to move the finger, and so oh hell no. And so this whole process, it's something interesting, and you might want to research more through our YouTube channels that talk about the effects of certain medicines in your body, blah blah blah. I don't know, but the point is that you want to understand the concepts, because if it is hard times and all you can see is over the counter and you are not certain, or you do not know the risk associated with one versus the other one, and you do not know the conditions in which this will not work because this is not the standard, then yeah, another thing that is not standard, it will be if you are diabetic. If you are diabetic, there is a lot of medicines out there. Ibuprofen, and oh God knows how many medicines are on this list. These medicines are made out of sugars, and so they will mess up your sugar intake. Medicines will take sugar into your body. Therefore, even something as simple as an ibuprofen will mess up your things if you are diabetic. So that is a special condition. Really, it's a special condition. You really, really, really want to read the labels. Don't take if you are diabetic, because it is assumed that whoever is buying these things is a standard. As in, it's a standard for the weight, it's a standard for the studies that they do, it's a standard for everything. And therefore, and that is why, when you don't meet the standards, as in your body is not within the norm, whatever the norm is within your country, then even if you are from abroad, as in you come from, okay, so you're in Japan, but I'm Latin, there is no way that the standard is going to be Latin people in the middle of Japan, okay? Unless you're talking about the Brazilian thing in the middle of Japan, but that one is another topic. But anyway, so even that one is going to be different, and so the standards is going to be different. And so now the medicine needs to be taken into consideration with all of these topics. And therefore, take a deep breath and understand standards, and understand whether you or somebody in your family does not meet the standards. If you're allergic to the ingredients, not the standard. If you, not the standard. Not the standard. And so, research what those standards are. Figure this one out on your own, and always talk to your doctor, okay? This is not something that you can just do on your own, okay? It's just, there is a reason why they study to do these things, okay? And so, be respectful of those people's time and knowledge and all of those things, even if they are paid by pharmaceuticals and you do not like it. But the point is, they studied anatomy, and so that one deserves its own award, so to speak.